Iko Nini.
Episode 194. Tukisema like, subscribe, hit the notification button, tell a friend to tell a friend. Yeah, alafu leo tuko na msee alikuja kwa episode 100. Do you know that?
Yes, I remember that.
100.
Yeah, 100. Hata mimi I was like, are we getting to 200 again? Because I'm becoming the hundreds guy.
Yeah. So I really thought about it. I was like, I want to push to 200.
Yeah.
But then nikafikiria nikaona maybe hii story ya stand up itakuwa imefade. Watu watashindwa.
Na pia itanipea kiburi ambayo hata mimi sitaki. Hiyo kiburi nitasema, unajua ukienda kuangalia nini show ya nani Iko Nini.
Yeah.
Mimi am done the 100 episode, 200 episode. Unaona nitaanza ku campaign for 300. It becomes a tradition. Hiyo ni kiburi, ni ngumu hata me that's too much pressure.
Yeah. So tuko na Doug Mutai. Doug Mutai of course is one of the best stand up comedians hapa Kenya. So nataka leo tubongejea comedy, specifically stand up comedy, na tutakuwa tukirifa tu ile story ya Jua na Njugush. Lakini before hapo acha to remind say it's been a minute since unajua mtu changamke na ka sponsorship hii video. Hiyo pia inaweza baki imesaidia, unajua itafanya tuweze kulipa a few light bills na kuwekea Doug drink hapa Yeah, Doug. Ama wewe ni mswa mursik?
Ni mursik, unajua hata ni ngumu kupata siku hizi.
Yeah.
Sasa enyewe mkiweza fanya hiyo sponsorship hata naona nitawekewa hata Red Bull. Kalabash ya Red Bull.
Nilikuwa nafikia kalabash ka mursika kazi ingia.
Like Konde. The Konde ones are very popular with Masais.
Yeah.
And then the fat one is Kales have it, like the one that is like this. And the Masais usually have that tall one. I don't know how that became, but
how close is Mursik to nini? Maziwa Mala, cause wajaka tuko na yetu. We have our own version of, cause niko na grandmother every evening she'd go with a kigwad and she'd just do it like and I shake and then she goes and stores it, and then after some time we'd be given, and that was hiyo maziwa unajua.
It's very close. There's no difference. Essentially the only difference with Mursik is the cultures, what is the word, those herbs that are crushed and workward, so that it makes it grey.
It's grey.
Yeah, it's grey. Mursik is grey generally, because of the there's a plant that is chomwa and that inaekwa kwa hiyo guad. Na hiyo inawashwa, so they nini along the guad, so even when you see it with fresh milk it just grows chalk, ni kama makaa tu, makaa powder ya makaa. And then like when it becomes ashish, and then so when it becomes kigandana, it becomes grey when it's mixed all together. So that's what makes mursik.
Okay.
That's what made it stood out. But essentially it's just spoiled milk. Like
because nini, my grandma from my mom's side alikuwaga anaitengeneza sana. Pia another thing she was really good at ni kutengeneza mafuta ya kupika through, ilikuwa bado ni maziwa, si ndio? So akina Ian utengeneza hao inaitwa gurunyu inanuka Ian, siko ubaya lakini gurunyu, unajua gurunyu? Hauji gurunyu? Hauji, but unajua kile tunabonga juu yake, like how to make cooking oil from milk,
like it's butter, right?
Cooking oil,
the like, whipping, alikuwa na whip.
I don't know how she used to do it, but it would be like in Luo we call it monya Luo.
Okay, because there's this where when you boil the milk there's a cream that forms at the top, that comes at the top. Hiyo inatolewa, hiyo inakuwa for cooking. That people use that as
butter,
kind of like butter. But there's also the butter where you whip it. Unaizungusha mpaka inakuwa butter yenyewe yenye ina melt nini. Because the other one doesn't really, maybe it melts, I don't remember. That's what mukurunyu is.
Gurunyu, yes. Gurunyu is an attempt at monyelu. Siku moja tutaishia ujakani na yeye ataona. So maybe you won't like the monyelu. The one thing sikuwa napendaga juu ya gurunyu ni gurunyu has a smell. Like it has a very strong smell. So ni msapere fake aje, lakini wasapere real. Tuambieni joji ya gurunyu. Kazio jina sijaisahau. So hii ya kijaka inakuaga okay, I think maybe wanatumiaga cream, I think. You're the cream on top. Alafu now when it ends up being like a yellow transparent liquid. So it looks like really refined and what, but it's just made from milk.
So it's the liquid that rises at the top of the
I think.
Yeah.
Because isn't it level too? In hindsight, ningetaka kuuliza grandmother how it's done. but unajuaga pia I think that whole African parent thing ya haufai kuuliza maswali mingi like they never used to pass these skills kasa hizi na doubt nikienda kwa hiyo ocha kina grandmother I doubt can't apata ikitengenezwa because she passed away so you'll find like such things just
they just disappear. My grandmother used to make baskets, but she'd never really trained anyone because there was that assumption that musome this is useless. You know, but actually it's very very valuable when you think about it now. It's a very valuable skill that's disappearing. Even
weaving.
Weaving hiyo kutengeneza basket nini. But I think I picked up on those things. Hata hiyo vitu unasema being in Shags me I was nachokoranga vitu nilikuwa nachokora vitu napata I know how that stuff can be made. Vile unaiona tu some of it ni kuacha tu maziwa ikae 2 days and then you just scoop it at the top unatoa.
Kuna hizo nini zile vitu tungetaka kulan zile hatukulan but vile nimesema tutakuwa tukibonga juu ya stand up comedy hapo mbele but before that sijuko ulicheki kuna hii picha ilikuwa ina trend ya the world's richest beggar. Did you see that?
No.
Like there's the world's richest beggar. He's based in India. He's worth 141 million Kenyan shillings.
141
That's
million
like
Kenyan shillings.
Basically $1 million.
From begging and he does it haja outsource.
Haja outsource.
Hana sijui mabega mkona vilema wenye amehaya kutoka Tanzania amewaweka kwa street. Ni yeye pekee yake anafanyanga.
Paka nashindwa kwani iko na his power of persuasion imefika level gani?
Definitely, that's very high level of power of persuasion. When you think about it, a lot of NGOs are also are beggars. They just know, they just fundraise non-stop and they are very good at it. So I mean, that guy is breaking no records except he's alone and he's not. And this guy is selling no other hope. You know, we're trying to change the life of my life. No, I want to see that guy. Mi sijamuona bana.
Anaitwa
Bharat
Jain. Yes. Niko Masaiza India. He still begs worth close to $1 million and bado anamkaga asubuhi anaenda begging. So unamcheki iko kwa streets. Sana shindo at what point do you now say this is good enough now let me enjoy my
but it's a career he loves it man he enjoys it you know do what you love and you'll not work a day in your life and that guy is doing he loves begging he loves begging niaje bro and even if he was not begging that he would be begging other things another job I feel like that at some point I think it's what works for him. Why would he do a 9 to 5 and make peanuts yet he can still do this as long as he's looking for money he'll keep begging
na ushaangaliaga bega nakunka at some point nikiwa mtoi kwa nimeangalia beggars nikaona like this is not bad you can clearly make $1 million hapa clean
and you know
then nikaanza kucalculate wase kila mtu anapita ananipatia $1 bob
inaweza kuwa do sindio plus also you know there's a service they bring they help you with your mtu ukishapea bega do unaanza kufeel ni kama you have done something for society. That's the service this guy is offering. But like you are feeling shit about yourself, you wanna feel good, that rush nipatika unampatia hata kuna mimi namsaidianga nasaidianga wase who the hell knows man, but I know there's something it does for people to feel like they have helped the less fortunate. Like it's become I feel like it's become a real commodity. People like helping the less fortunate is also a thing that makes me, it's a service I need. Like I need to feel like I did it. I don't know.
Nasiwaga na hizo jinga unasaidia bega moja unaenda pale kwa
piga mapicha Instagram
kuna kukoga na hiyo
earlier today
unatembea kama
umeinua mabega the downtown children's home. Yes, you got to play with these wonderful souls but really you're doing that for your gram, you know. So huyu jamaa ako kwa analog ya begging whereby there was no Instagram. I'm sure alianza wakati enzi za TV
kuzimenikumbusha hiyo story yako vile umesema nini imenikumbusha nilichekia article ya Elsa Majimbo. Elsa Majimbo alikuwa anasema she took away all her money and gave it to the needy and I found that to be too broad.
Because I am needy. I need things. You could give it to me and that you still ticks the box, right? Like so she said she gave her all her money.
Make sure you say you could give your money to kisema give it to me, it's a whole different meaning. Alisema hivyo ati alipatia alienda tu kwa account akatoa do yote akapatia the needy.
Who are these people?
Sino nashindwa sema watu kadhaa like nilichukua $10,000 nikapatia Iko Nini podcast. We are needy.
We need
Yeah.
akiaje sikufikiwa juu kama alikuwa naangalia inbox
kwa inbox zile za ulianza na bahati na sivyo was like wacha nijaribu huwezi jua bahati ya mtu inatoka wapi bana that is so broad and that's not clear who are the needy, whom did you
afu maybe pia alipatia the needy of South Africa. Unajua dem atupendi apparently.
That's true. She doesn't, but I mean alisema alibashiwa when she was bashed, the same thing that we were just discussing earlier. She was just bashed. I was like chana naye afanye vitu zake kama umpendi wewe kanyaga kubwa go to the people you like and what not. So kidogo kama tulimbash sana, I can understand why alipeleka South Africa. I love
yeah. But sasa as the needy, wacha to go back to story ya begging mi shida yangu ni moja. Nikishafikisha mi ningeacha kubeg vile amefikisha 141 million. Mi nafikiri ningetry my best kabisa, ningeacha at around 40 million. 40 million namaanisha niotengeneza hao niko na Range Rover niko sawa
biashara hapo.
Niko na kabiashara.
Because the tricky balance here is to have money and still look like a beggar. You have to look hungry.
Yes, you still have to stay skinny,
stay humble,
don't take showers.
Be like you guys, you changed man. If nataka kukupea 10 bob I say manze you changed. Now you're just not making me feel like I'm helping the needy. Making feel like I feel like I'm just being scammed, you know.
Alafu do you know how getting a shilling from someone is so hard? Because wewe mwenyewe tu kiwatao ona beggars wakibeg. Hakuna mtu agana shughuli nikuga toka. It even gets violent. Unajua hivyo? So nashindwa umse ndio afikishe 141 million Kenyan shillings.
What made him
how good is he?
He has to be good because that's a very competitive market. Tao hata umsaidia mmoja, kuna wengine watatu sasa wamejaa hapo wanataka. So unaamua ni gani, unaamua tu so that's a very competitive. This guy had to stand out. Ama alikuwa na kona, maybe he was brutal. Kingia kona yake natokea huko nyuma na hiyo fimbo yenye alikuwa anatembea nano.
Anakupatia choice. Kuzisha sikia gazile za machokoshwa Nairobi. Sikuna time ilifika wakacha kunini. Ilikuwa wanakuonyesha mavi. So ni either nikupake mavi ama unipatie kile uko nayo. Cause mimi na feel kama India haijafika level ya kufanya msiafike hiyo. Alafu pia hii unaona itaharibia beggars wengine ama? Cause we try kumagine sisi wale tumeona hii story. Can you ever give a beggar anything?
Actually me siku hizi I restrain. Cause unapata ukisikiza stories that they hire out kids. It's attached to human trafficking in a lot of ways. Me by the way, hata me I don't remember the last time I gave money to a beggar. Sinikwambia the last kwanza nini, the last time cause me avoid eye contact. And this time that's their biggest commodity. Yes, they caught me sleeping. Wakakutafuta hivi. Nikalokaize nikamkidi. And I was holding a Fanta. Anakuja hivi, anakuja. Uncle, nipatie Fanta. So now sipendi kupeana nini food yenye nimekunywa cause maybe kanaweza throw tantrums nitao. Nasema nimeka poison. So mimi nikalenga. Guy, nikatambia kama nimeinua mabega. So now kakaniambia unaringa na makojo. Kuna kuorganize catcalling of beggars. Ukafeel vile mademu feel wakiambiwa hivyo. Catcalliwa akitoka anaambia unaringa hata na una matako.
Inafanya demo anashindwa.
That's so you see that entitlement. Unaringa na makojo, so you're like, oh yeah, you know what, I'm glad I didn't give you the
sikupatia kilo na una nini. So na nini vile ulikuwa kama juu place kama Canada kuna beggars wengi.
Kunao, homeless guys. They're always Kosi, the specific parts.
Basika US.
I'm not familiar with a lot of cities in the US, but it's not that far off. Unaona place ka Toronto, Vancouver. Wako. But even so here's a funny thing. There are kids who just want to even just the experience of being homeless. They do it. Like kuna mtu wetu kwa nafanya job na yeye during the summer so during the winter anadu job akona rent ya kulipa nindi ande ajimudu nini ikifika summer the weather is good alikuwa na dogi yake ama ako na dogi but wengine wako na dogi but Kenya alikuwa na doingi anafanya train hopping napanda train inampeleka Vancouver and then he's homeless for the 3 months of the summer just being homeless, begging, doing that as a thing. That's what he does for his summers. And there was like a whole group of them doing that. So now there's a lot of homeless people. Those are the ones who usually do the begging. But hapa Kosange, like all the scams you can think of pia ziko Kosange, but in smaller proportions to us. But I am not sure about the US because I've not been in the US a lot. And we end a very small section. So.
Okay. Ukiwa na hii visa ya Canada, uzaingia States ama lazima pia uende kwa embassy?
No, unaweza ingia ukiwa na visa but temporarily. Ukiwa na visa ya Canada, you can get into the States temporarily just for shopping, and especially with the border towns, you could do that. I actually found that out very late. But yes, you can always do that. So as long as your visa in Canada is valid.
Ulikuwa border ni ilikuwa which state?
We're bordering Montana.
Okay. Montana wagani state. Okay, the United States wagani. Ni tricky sana. So wacha saa turuke kwa story za comedy. Nataka tubongeja comedy kidogo. So last week kuna nini mlifanya? Twitter space. We even talked about it on the podcast. Ilikuwa sasa ni wewe. Kisiangani, Jua Kali. Bashir was also there, sindio?
Bashir was there.
And mlikuwa mnabonga jia stand-up comedy, yes? And hii yote ilitoka from a tweet that nani alifanya? Jua alifanya. So the tweet, sijui kwa nini sijafungua hiyo tweet na saizi naona nionekana nitaipata because nataka ni quote the right way, ndio because kuna watu wamekuwa kini correct and I wanted to quote it the right way. So basically the tweet was Jua Kali. Ulisikia the backstory of what had happened, like why we got there, how did we get here where Jua Kali felt like he had to tweet?
I remember. I think the backstory that the first tweets I started seeing was I think Njugush had a bad night. It happens. But maybe not bad night. Maybe one of the guys just didn't like the show or something. He had a bad night of the show, which happens. And maybe he was not able to turn it around, which I guess now that just goes to experience, because everyone can have a bad night, but you can always turn it around. I am not sure of the details. But there's enough credible people who said it was a good show. So, but then there's a guy who just said, manze, your sister stand up or something. That's where it started, because on the Sunday, I remember getting that. I think someone told me a screenshot somewhere. And then I was just like, I guess it happens. I mean, if you've done, it's bound to happen. You're gonna have you're gonna have a bad night on stage. But now TTNT has been going on for. So let's say how many TTNTs are there? There's 4. But this final show, he did it like 4 shows in Australia, was it?
4 shows in
the States and 1 in Kenya.
That's
almost 7. That's a rate of 10% failure rate, which is normal for, especially if you're starting out in stand-up. Utapata one show yenye inakudunga ile kitu. But the longer you go, the more you can just have fun with it. Because me, I know the moment the show inaanza kwenda south, naanza kujibamba mimi. Haikuange tena nisumbua. Naanza kujibamba. Because now if we are not connecting, because usually now in these instances, it's usually material that I've done, tried and tested. I know it works. So if you don't find it funny, it's either shida ni wewe, ama sound haitoshi, ama something is the problem, but it's not the material, it's not me. I know I've performed it, it's killed before. So at that point, me naanza kuji-entertain. I'll do my own things. Like, you can join me or you can fuck off like that. That's the attitude I take, and it always works. Like, the moment it can't south, I know what to do, and things turn around. I always say I'm mostly able to turn it around. But that goes with just, I think, experience too.
Because it's reminded me of the infamous "I ain't scared of you motherfuckers." Bunny Mac. The story was there's someone who'd gone before and he bombed.
And he was getting booed.
So by the time
the audience was hostile.
The audience was hostile. So that's why Bunny Mac alingiaga stage now. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
And just ripped them. And he was having fun. Alijifanyia tu. There's another one, I think was it Pittsburgh or something a few years ago. Bill Burr. trended the same way. It was a similar crowd. They're rough, they are mean, they were not trying to give a chance to anyone. And Bill Burr came and said, fuck you motherfuckers, and just he told them a new hustle. Walimheshimu. But alienda akaamua kujibamba. He's like, you don't want to hear what anybody has prepared? Me, I'll give you what I am here to do. Mimi niko na obligation ya kufanya whatever the number of minutes. Aliua because he just changed, he flipped it on its own head, because these guys, they were holding the nini guys at ransom too much, the comedians at ransom.
Natrai kutafuta hiyo tweet ya nani ndio tuweze kuianalyze
because
staki okay nimeipata. So ilikuwa on July 9th So on July 9th kuna msa anaitwa Eric Manyika alitweet hii kitu inaitwa stand up comedy si mchezo. I remember my pal Juakali Genge on one of those arguments alisema hawa majama zao ni drama si comedy. Then Juaka reply akamwambia Jugush ni boy wangu but hakuna comedian hapo, not funny at all. So let's start with that. So just cause someone can't do stand up, does that mean they're not funny? They can't be funny?
No, they can be very funny.
Yeah,
Jugush is funny. Like he might not have mastered stand up maybe, but he's a funny as hell comedian. Like he's a funny comedian. He does sketch very well. He acts. He also does comedic acting very well. So I think no, stand up is not the yardstick, but it's been looked at as a yardstick. I think there's also kuna tuna conflation in our culture in Kenya kidogo. Since watu waanze kufanya any form of comedy. I remember even back in the day when kina Ridiculous walikuwa wanafanyanga hizo Red Corner nini. There was always a temptation to call it stand up.
Yeah.
But these are sketch comedians. They are not stand up comedians. But there was always a temptation to be like, now Kenya is doing the Ritz. I think Kenya has always romanticized having something stand-up-ish without doing the whole full, going the full yards with the stand-up. Even though I do remember, I think around those times as well, Kena Buddha Blaze were actually doing stand-up, but it was not on the mainstream. So, I don't know. So that is the idea. So, I think the heartbreak of having that expectation of stand-up from someone, and then he gives you whatever it is they give you, and then you are accepting it in the meantime till you finally say no, this is not stand up. I think that's what hiyo ndio imefika, hiyo ndio level ilifika. Kwa hiyo hata kwa hii tweet yenye wanasema, because I don't know what the marketing was, like I was telling you. If they had marketed TNT as a stand up show, I don't know if they did that, but if they did, then maybe there's gonna be some expectations of a stand-up performance. But as far as a Jugush experience, a comedy experience of Jugush is concerned, I think it delivered. So that's what it did. Like the fans wa Jugush walikuja kuona Jugush kumu experience na wakavinye. But for stand-up now, I don't know, because also I've never been able to attend any of the TNTs.
Now shall watch online?
I watched the first two.
Yeah. Okay.
And I mean, it was material that in the long run was intended to be stand up. But for me, I would say it just needed maybe ilikuwa inahitaji a bit of inaitwa nini hiyo simmering to mature. You know how we do jokes, it needed a few runs. Like how like I was telling guys, how sometimes the joke is funny. What you thought about is funny because your instinct is what is bringing the funny, right? It's a funny instinct that's bringing it. But for the joke to be funny, it's a collaboration between the audience and the comedian. The laughs, like I write a joke and then I take it in front of an open mic, a comedy club, a few times before I actually qualify it as a joke to go into my act, right? So you write a joke, it's 10 minutes long or 7 minutes or whatever, several jokes, and you go and you realize, hey, out of that 7 minutes, I only have 3 minutes.
Okay.
Like you thought it was funny to you, but the audience gave you something different. Now that's when you start tweaking. You're looking for is it the timing? Is it wording? You change the words, you tweak the words, you tweak even your demeanor. What is the attitude that you're selling this joke with? Like tone, attitude, all that stuff. What is giving this joke? What is supposed to make it funny? What's the flipping point for it to be funny? And that's what you're expecting. When you go to the clubs, that's what you're trying to find. A loading point. Vile mtu ako drive stick shift, kila gari iko na loading point yake different. That's what stand-up is as well. Like it's like almost like it's a dance between what your words are and the laughter of the audience is the lyrics. Like it's a it's the beat. Like hiyo ni beat yake yenye lazima iende in tandem. So if you rehearse it in front of your mirror, and then you take it as a show, it lacks, unaona kuna step umehata hiyo ya kufind your loading point in an audience, right? That's how I do my stand up. That's how I know a lot of people do stand up. That's how stand up is done, because then that's what makes stand up kwamba the audience DNA is inside it, like it's almost like a focus group of sorts. It's a survey, and that's how you kill the stuff that is gonna be, it works. Unapata hii leo imework hapa, leo kesho ikatai kuwork, kesho kutu ikatai kuwork, and then you realize maybe it was a lucky break, or there's something missing. Hata kuna majoke unaandika, unaijaribu, and it's just not connecting, but you know deep down there's something.
Yeah, there's something there.
So you just shelve it, and then a few months or years down the line, it just comes full circle, and it just clicks, it just pops, just like that, and it just becomes a whole thing. And so that's what I find, that's what makes stand-up take so long to build. You know, like una find msee kitambo hiyo special kuja amezungusha over 100 shows or 200 shows, ameichapa for the last 2 years. Ameikuwa especially in the States, that's what they do, a lot of them. These guys do that a lot. Like very few people can just show up and just do it off, like anybody who knows stand up can pick out on that. If you're a fan of stand up, you can pick out that hii in the first draft material, like haijapitia your kiln your material. Hata was it on Netflix ama gani ya nani jamaa it talks like this, let me tell you motherfucker, nimesahau jina, it's just at the tip of my tongue. The stand up comedian is Cat Williams.
Cat Williams.
Especially like the latest, I swear I don't think I liked it.
Okay.
Because I could just sense it was just first draft. But he can get away with a lot because he's also a veteran. Amezunguka sana. He can almost simulate everything. Right? But you have to zungusha it on like uitembeze kidogo. Lazima uitembeze a bit more before you get it. So everyone, before they put out a special, wanakuwa maitembeza sana. Before it gets recorded and put out to the world, imetembezwa, imefanyiwa panel beating.
Umetry hizo jokes ukazitry, because hata nini tukibonga juu ya comedians like Cat Williams, there's this one thing mupendaga sana ku-advise wase to do it. It's something I used to do before him, but he also like now gave me, like I found that to be a super funny joke because of the fact. So Cat Williams had this joke about kama dem anakuja kukuona, you should jack off before she reaches the house. Your joke. And so of course kuna kuagana this one guy, it's tamtaja this time, but there's this one guy ule waga online telling people about how jacking off is the worst thing ever. So I found that to be super funny, because now you have all these dudes like Africa. Africa su nini, I don't know the whole of Africa, but hapa Kenya unapataga even that topic is like, like it's frowned upon, like how dare you say unajichezaga na sehemu zako wewe mwenyewe nyeti, unajua like so alifanyaga that. I found that to be like a super funny joke that I don't know kama wewe ka comedian, is there any joke unago na someone like I wish I came up with that?
There's several.
There
are jokes that I've just had, and I'm like, I'm trying to remember which one specifically. There are some even that I had written, and then somebody comes up with a better version of it.
Okay.
While I'm still workshopping mine, and naisikiza kwa special uko zile za. Wacha tu ninyamazisha. Kuna ingine, kuna mingi bro. Kuna mingi, but and then usually the rule is you don't want to be found to be doing a joke that is perceived to be someone else's. So the moments that happens, I just drop the joke. I usually just drop the joke. If I cannot make it sound original in my own voice, in my own direction, rarely do I do that. But here's the funny thing. When I was in South Africa last month, last month was April. I met this guy. He's a comedian. He's called Thabiso Mlongo. He's a South African comedian, very funny motherfucker. And then he watched me at one of the shows, the festival show, the gala. And this guy was like, "That's the first time I've laughed in a long time." This man, and then of course we would hang out, have drinks, we do mics together, we would do shows together. And then he told me, the funny thing is, almost all the jokes I've heard you do, I have a version of those jokes. we've never met, we've never talked. I didn't know about me before, I didn't know about him before. And I was like, really hey. So kumsikiza yenyewe, he has those jokes, but it's usually the other side of the joke. Usually there's that joke I do about being robbed and I want professional robbers and stuff like that. I don't know if you've heard that joke. It's very it's a killer bit that I do. And this guy has the other side where he was the unprofessional robber, like doing the thing, and it's so funny, but like we kept finding ourselves on so many different themes. He's doing this joke, I'm doing this joke. It's the same material, but it's a different, like you can tell it's his, you can tell it's mine. Like we could literally do the same, those jokes back to back, and it feels like it's just two different guys. So the idea of parallel thought happens like that, whereby now the issue is sometimes there's a bigger comedian than you, or someone or someone puts out, even in the 90s and even 80s, the rule usually used to be, because that's what the vets used to tell us when we were to mentor. The rule used to be whoever puts it out on TV first keeps the joke.
Oh, okay.
So if your material, you've been doing it all these years, because even back then it used to even take longer to get a special. So alikuwa nazunguka nayo for years before you put it on TV. And mse ilikuwa, somebody's doing a joke that you have, and then it's recorded and it's put out first. That one keeps the joke. You remain, now you have to write another joke. Like that's what happens. That's just that was the rule to avoid kugongana.
Na kwanza kuambia na umeiba joke yangu.
Exactly.
Kwa sasa nini tukigo back hata kabla tuendelee na stand up comedy, I felt like reason hii nini, cause tulikuwa najua hapa a few was it like 2 weeks ago, tukibonga naye nilikuwa namwambia kuna vitu usema zile ni disrespectful, and he didn't find it to be disrespectful. So kuna ile kitu alisema juu Lunga. I also don't think kuhusunachikia hapa akisema Jugush ni boy wangu, but then he laughs. Hakuna comedian hapo, not funny at all. I felt like that can be taken as disrespect, not criticism. So according to wewe, kuna difference ya criticism na disrespect, ama zote ni mtu akiandika hivyo Mutai Dag ni boy wangu, but hakuna comedian hapo, not funny at all. How do you take it? As disrespectful ama as criticism?
At that point, if somebody says that about Mutai, at that point usiseme ni boy wangu, because that becomes disrespect. But if you just say this guy is not funny at all, that's fine by me. That's not disrespect.
I'm not funny.
When ni boy wangu, kama ni boy wangu when ni show. When you show in private or something like that. Well, I think so. But if for me, I don't know. I had never thought about that disrespect angle in that way. But me, I find it now, itakuwa disrespect. Yeah, definitely. I'm okay with not being funny for people. I know I'm funny to other people. I'm not funny to other people. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I do the people. Like I'm funny for the people I'm funny to. That's it. I work for, because I realize utajipata kwa hii people pleasing journey of trying to impress people who would never love you anyway. So I fucks with the people who fucks with me, that's it. But hiyo mambo ya so now when it comes to hiyo disrespect, definitely boy wangu maybe ili muddy the waters, would have muddied the waters for me. It would have for me. Unasema ni boy wangu, cheki mwafa amesema mse ni boy wangu, lakini hiyo ni kama because it would be like I'd rather you tell me that to my face, right? And then I'll work on it, because bidii yako that's what it is. At the end of the day, it's like it's nonsense to you, but ni bidii, so at that point me, I feel like Jua was fucking around, honestly. It was just having fun or something, because Twitter pia iko na hiyo energy, like you have to come off as a hater a bit ndio isonge. But now maybe there's that, you have to be connecting, because unachekingi hao say, for example, kina Butita, kina Njugush, kina nani, see they bust each other's balls all the time. Jamaa useless, but they work together a lot. So naona sasa hiyo, that's the energy I thought with Joy, because I thought ni maboy, so wanakuanga tu kuchapana, and then now the controversy came. I was like, oh shit, it's actually real. Like I thought it would be something wametoka kuongea naye akamwambia bure acha nitaku blast or something like that. But hiyo ikapeleka, and then of course it created a whole new conversation. You know what was weird about this thing? under all those hundreds and thousands of replies, from time to time ulikuwa unapata umetagiwa tu.
Yeah,
These are the guys doing real comedy. I'm like, comedy is comedy killer. Yes, thank you for the I love the flowers. I love the flowers. Pata jina yako imetajwa, nimefurahi sana. But hey manze, I feel like these are two conversations that could have been had differently. Mwende ukitaka ku criticize Njugusha, criticize uko pia kuja unipe ma flowers zangu hapa kando pia separately without but that's just I don't know if it's a Kenyan thing or it's a human thing where people have to frame a contest. They have to be, it has to be relative to something else. Like you cannot give me accolades without comparing me with someone else. Like Siata, when we started wase walikuwa kulikuwa na zile hey, you say this was funny, this was good man, wacha nini na hizi za machache. I'm like but it's doing something for someone. Like kuna wase wanaifurahia, so you can't
kuna watu
really,
wengi wanaifurahia.
Wengi wanaifurahia, so you can't really knock it and say that ain't shit, that's not comedy. Well, I mean to some people it's what comedy is, the entirety of comedy is. So because it's highly subjective, nobody has I feel like nobody really has that authority to say or the license to grade it a certain way, you know. The grading is only personal. But now, as a if you're a critic, that's what you do for a living.
Of
course, go ahead and do the critiquing. But I still feel honest. Me, but it's real life, I guess. It's just me. I feel like even for Njugush, this was just a new devils problem.
Hata vile nini vile umesema tu hivyo imefanya nikataka kuangalia hii nini bidii yangu nataka tu heshima yako aja. So I feel like nikana nego nafaa kumdungia tu
jua nani akatumia yako but ni maboy they are cool right now, right?
Jugusha namuita nataka I think kuna a certain level of cool that's just plastic, you understand, as men like what are we supposed to do? We are not at least tumetoka states toa bunduki tumalizane. So of course ndaichukua but na feeling nika kuna a certain level of disrespect ile we can never come back from that, najua. So saizi of course Njugusha kiulizwa atakuwa like I'm okay with it. Sawa, it is but mtu akishasema not funny at all and this guy is known as a comedian, nika wewe ukuja useme jua si msanii. Pale hakuna msanii.
Hakuna genge hapo.
Hakuna genge hapo. Unaona? Afterwards ukisema ilikuwa jokes anybody young.
So maybe, but then in that case then it means nikajokali hata. But also me knowing Jua, I know Jua is a stand-up nerd. He loves stand-up. Anajua stand-up zile za ndani zile yani. So in a way maybe ni hapa tu alisahau yeye ndi legend akona millions of followers because that anybody can say that like in private I will be like hata nikitweet hakuna mtu atajua ni mimi tu nimechapa who knows who the hell is this guy. But Jua being Jua, it just means something. Ni kama ile tweet ya nani anaitwa nani Moses Kuria. Like he just forgets he's a CS. And he's just this asshole from down the road doing asshole things. When he's drunk he tweets shit things that you can say that when you're hanging out but in a public forum, you know, Twitter has changed that game whereby kuna banta ingine unaweza fanya alafu sema but Twitter will not give you that chance. And then you get caught up in this spiral of trying to and then it makes it worse. So hiyo mayai umeirusha juu sasa ita crash for sure now. That's what I think that's what happened here. Me kuna tu maybe they took a moment to this guy as a stand up nerd was just like hii kitu tu imemkwaza vile imenini. Now I assume again, I don't know, was it marketed as stand-up? Am I your expectation that he would be doing stand-up?
But it tweet ya nani has nothing to do with stand-up. I think hapo ndio...
that one too. That
hii ni not funny at all.
No, but it is. When I say hakuna comedian hapo...
Hakuna comedian hapo.
But to him, comedy is stand-up. In that sense, you know, Nikama, to him comedy is stand-up, sketch and the other stuff doesn't count, which is also weird, which is also there's comedians who are purists like that. Like I knew people who wenye wanapendanga kusema eti comedy sijui ni lazima ikwe hivi like kama ni hizo wacha ikae like I know guys who would knock those just for laughs gags where it's just pranks nini very harmless pranks and it's like that's not comedy, nobody's saying anything, that's not comedy. I'm like but that's comedy.
Yeah.
Like Mr. Bean, that is what makes people laugh.
Mr. Bean was a funny comedian.
Yeah, Mr. Bean was a funny comedian. He's a sketch comedian. He was never a stand-up comedian. He's never claimed to be a stand-up comedian, but he's a funny qualified comedian. So I feel like there's that expectation too ya Kenya whereby we've been so we want our own stand-up that anybody who mwenye amefika amefanya anything we want to frame it as stand-up for our own selves.
Na hizo kwanza nini tukidigress kidogo hizi tweets za Moses Kuria ulizichukuaje ama hiyo tweet ya Moses Kuria?
Yeah, just saw the snapshot, but that guy is inaitwa nini hiyo waya ambayo like like there's no
there's a loose
he's a loose connect to be honest, like he's and he does but he's also a brilliant guy in what he does.
Yeah
and now he also does politics. Apparently he's killing it in politics in this country. Can't knock the man.
Unafikiria
it's unfortunate
akikufa on 19th anaweza zikwa on the 29th according to wewe? Nani so you know what
do you meant?
Yeah, would that happen? Is 10 days enough for sis to go back to normal?
Especially if it's based on that tweet, if God forbid something happens on the 19th and Moses Kuria said what he said, of course it will bring problems. Of course it will bring problems.
10-day problems ama longer than 10 days?
It will have to be, it might end up being longer than 10 days. Of course, this is not just a guy from down the road.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it will bring problems. But if it was a natural thing, maybe it could be like that. If it's just another coincidental something happened
but not on the 19th.
But now unlucky for you if like that Godfather says I'm a superstitious man and if anything were to happen to me I will come after all of you, whatever he said. That's exactly what this situation would be. Even if it's by other natural means. Hata alikuwa India sijui nini kafanyika 19th yenye ulimention na ikaambatana na hiyo bro, maisha yake itabadilika vibaya for the worst. Nani Mose? Of course.
Sindio,
because people will be like you did it.
You had something to do with it.
You had something to do with it. Like they will
he'd have to boost his security around him. Sindio? Because na feel hivyo. Like inaweza kuwa nini?
And considering the fanatics of nani vile wako. Watakusumbua sana.
But nini kuna time ile nani alisema nini the president said lazima achiase freedom of speech and freedom of expression. Do you think he needs to also curtail it? Ama unaona ni sawa tu wewe sema kile unataka kusema na wewe ni CS? Ama unafeel kuna ile level nafaa kuambia buda?
No, I mean freedom of speech also comes with consequences. There's also freedom of consequences. It's not a blank check whereby like freedom you can say whatever you want to. That's what I've always understood freedom of speech to be. I can say it. The consequences are not even gonna be from whoever. Nobody should stop me from saying it, but there's gonna be implications. Not even consequences. Consequences is the wrong word here. There's going to be implications of what you say, because what you say is, that's what how communication works. So if someone says something, lazima it will make someone else do something else. And that also is probably their freedom or something, Like if you step up to me, step up to you type of shit. But I don't know. Maybe hizo vitu kwanza as a politicians. Hata mambo yao ni ngumu kidogo.
Na history vile Cheragei pia alitweet sniper.
Alitweet pia hiyo?
Yeah, alitweet sniper on Sunday.
Out of it kabisa. I've been out of the head. But again, Cheragei pia anakuanga na nini zake tu. But I don't know if these guys, because these guys are, when you look at their previous, because Moses he's so good at what he used to do. It just makes you wonder, is there a play here? Is there like is this scripted? Like what is happening? Ni nini inafanyika hapa leo inafanya wase wana behave wanaongea hivyo. Cheragei sijaiona by the way.
Cheragei alitweet sniper. Alafu kwanza talking of scripts vile nimesema tumedigress kidogo, kuna Babu Owino anakuaga na hii conspiracy theory. and his conspiracy theory is Uhuru na Ruto ni bosom buddies, they are tight friends kabisa, they are, unajua na Raila anachezwa mpaka leo. Have you ever felt that these guys are friends, Raila anachezwa?
I feel like there was a time I felt that even with Raila's even fights with Uhuru, I felt like Raila was boys with Uhuru always. And ilikuwa tu for sure, of course. No, like it's fair game. This is what we do. It's like if two boxers are friends. Tukifika game lazima tupigane makumbo. But we are boys. That's what I felt like. That is what it is. So like, yeah, definitely I don't think they're enemies, especially this new crop of comedians, politicians. I guess they're comedians. They are comedians.
No, they're clowns. They're more clowns.
This new crop of politicians, ni kama haikuangi wameweka ndani. To them it's just a game. So definitely I don't even think kuna mtu anachezwa. Everybody's aware of what everybody's about. Like kila mtu ameingia, like they are boys in ways that in more ways than one, like unapata so but now at some point every now and then though they give me the impression that there was a bit of kuchukia, yani kuna ile unajua mulikosana, yani ni kama ulinidinya demo wewe demo. That's ile tulikuwa boys.
Nishaijo kwa Iko Nini hivyo la move feel like the way they treat each other. It's like someone's bum was squeezed. Unajua vile kunaweza kuwa tuna kadem fulani kana work State House. Nikaka lifinywa rasa and one person wanted and the other one didn't want. Alafu ikakuwa rasa ni unanionyesha wewe ndio kana makende unishinda.
Exactly. That's what hiyo ndio na feel sasa, hata hiyo beef yao iko. So hata kama there's any camaraderie, unaona wakipatananga kwa event wako zile za my brother this asshole, this is wacha kusema my brother this, my brother that. But it's so plastic now. I feel like even when they meet in this, there's this tension of them saying my brother so and so, like they meet in a funeral. In the past they never used to do that. I don't think politicians used to meet at places and at school or ndio maana walikuwa wanaanzishanga mavita. But in this new era, I feel these guys wanajuananga hata hiyo kuchukiana. Yes, kuna kabif, but pia wanaikava na ubeshte fulani, yani kuna ile we're still this respect is plastic. Kuna ka respect fulani wanapeananga in for decorum, it's just plastic, it's not real, wanachukiana. So I feel like kuna kachuki fulani wanachukiana for it. Ama it's always like we are friends as long as we don't want the same thing. But the moment we do, we go sideways. Or we are still friends, but it's fair game what we have to do to get what we have.
Okay. Na nini 2027 unaonaje turnout? Do you expect the turnout to be higher ama lower based on what has happened so far?
I honestly don't know shit enough about politics to tell you what 2027 will be. And even right now it looks so like it's so weird what's happening, like kwanza with these guys just making promises left, right and center. It's like at some point you need to focus on three things. Focus on three things. You can't have more promises than you have CSs. I'm like, just focus on a few important things.
Umalize kwanza.
Because half the time, because what do politicians actually do? Like there is no real value they add. They are really entertainment. Like they just for us to make us feel like we are represented nini. And half their thing, what they do half the time is hope, is what they give. They are purveyors of hope. Like I feel like politicians do and address my interest nini. Of course they still direct interest, but it never changes what you do, never changes what I do. It just makes my life easier or makes it harder. So it's always like your job, the biggest job for you as a politician is to get as much out of the way as possible, but also to make sure I don't forget about you. But in this case, you have gotten too much in the way. Everything is everywhere. Everything is expensive. Things are hard to deal, and nothing is moving. It's like at some point majamaa simutulie tu yani. So 2027 now I'm like, is it that people lack of diligence ndio unafanya sasa things are tough like this, or also for managing our expectations and hope is the thing that it would be doing. So reduce the promises, do a bit more of stuff, or even do shit, do fuck all, do nothing, but don't raise my hopes, my expectations. And that's, I mean, I feel like political temperature we're in right now is because people have a lot of expectations that are not being met. They are failing at selling the hope. Like the hope they are selling, they are oversold. They have diluted it. Wameongeza maji imezidi. So, because now there is always that kuna ka each fulani umenipea expectations. Also deliver some, so that equilibrium. So we're lacking equilibrium because there's too much expectation and nothing much is being delivered. But nothing usually gets delivered. Like politicians never do anything real. I don't think they do anything real. They get in the way. That's the only real thing they do.
Right? But I think nani anaitwa nani jo Kibaki I think was coming from Jomo and Moi. I think people felt Kibaki unajua
like he got out of the way
cause
as much as possible.
Unaona hivyo.
From what I read, there's this book that really talks about Kenyan stuff. Jomo was just alikuwa matrauma zake alikuwa anajireward. Alikuwa anajireward tu kwa sababu hizo vitu akafanya hizo kujipanga pia. Unajua pia scarcity pia ilikuwa imefanya ile kitu. So he didn't do much. He was old even by the time he was in majority of his years. And then Moi came. Moi was fresh. Hakuwa na matrauma mingi za kuget there. Like so he was ready to work. He worked the first 4 years. He was really good apparently. That's according to your Kenya history since independence. There's a book by Charles Hornsby. Gives you a lot of details about those eras. Or inakupea zote from Kenyatta to Moi to Kibaki. The inside scoops. So I feel like Kenyatta, of course, he was not very aware of what needed to be done, but he had a lot of educated people around him. Lots of clever people around him. So the economy was kind of balanced enough, but they also did what they had to do the play, and he was iron fist. Alikuwa na jibamba. Inchi ilikuwa yake. He was an emperor of sorts.
Kenyatta, Jomo.
Moi alianza vizuri. He was this former middle manager who could do the job, and then hiyo kuu ikamfanya ile kitu. Now he became paranoid. And not only that, the people he had now were from even Jomo that were brilliant people that could have worked. Now he couldn't trust them anymore. At that point, remember, there wasn't a lot of educated people he could trust. In fact, he started distrusting educated people because of half that reason. And then akaanza kuweka sasa watu wa Kenya ana trust. The only people he could trust was Kales most of the time. Not enough Kales had gone to school back then. So they were not as qualified as you would have expected. But there were some that were qualified. Alikuwa na encourage watu wasome nini. But now he spent a lot of energy just trying to stay on top, to be afloat. Because remember also, he was from a minority tribe. Right? Not minority, but he was not the most populous tribe. So his strategy was to unite all the small tribes under his wing, because then that is the only way you could face the big three, the Luo, Luya, and Kikuyu. Because Kale was like fourth, right? I think.
Your time,
populous. Fourth or third.
So afterwards akanini Moi stopped supplying condoms in Rift Valley.
Yes sir. No, but condoms iko imefika hizo masiku.
Sinakwambia ni any form of like birth control mliambo hapana.
Tuliambiwa no, but nothing changed. Our population has never changed. The Kale population, we're still number 4 in the country.
No?
Are
you sure?
Kale's population-wise.
Number 4?
We're still 4th,
No. Kales are more than Luos. Because I know maybe, Luyas and Kikuyas are the highest.
No, we're not more than Luos, you guys. If we were more than Luos, hiyo election ya juzi ingekuwa that closely hivyo.
Zini cause wajaka alikuwa anajua tuko na deep state, hakuna lazima tupige kura bwana. So kuna wajaka
angalia Kenyan population.
Kalenjin population 6.3, wacha tuangalie Luo. Okay. But easy of course
I don't know.
Ni Luo population in Kenya 6.1. Unaona?
So tumepita tu but juzi.
In 2020 they call themselves they are the 4th largest after Kikuyu, Luya and Kalenjin.
So I guess juzi ndio tumeingia hapo.
Muli nini? Kuna
but we were always 4th.
Kuna there's that time where it was like and any wachikira majuzi I think during the 2017 election if I'm not wrong ama hii 2022 there's a Kikuyu MP who was going around akiambia watu tuanze kuzaana kusitapitwa because don't forget the more empowered you are the less likely you are to give birth ama you give birth less and less and less sindio so something that's happening right now is
wanaomoka
yes
wanaacha kuzaana
but wameacha kuzaana they're not nining as fast sindio so saizi watu wale wanazaana kabisa ni watu wa northeastern
because they're trying to catch up
yes I'm not even trying to catch up but that woman the northeastern woman is not empowered you know she's the sort of woman who sold shut up I take it like nala so hao ndio wana grow fast kabisa yeah
so, but do you think it will matter in a few years? I feel like it's getting diluted, even the tribal influence. Of course, because they'll desperately try and cling on to it if they are the kingpins. But I think after a while, it will stop mattering.
Kuna a certain level, but not as fast as people think. Because watu wako na history ati there's a lot of inter-tribe marriage, which I don't think is... Well, umemari within the tribe or outside?
It was within the tribe.
Within, sindio? Ian within.
Yeah.
Rapture within.
Yeah.
The only person without ni mimi. Unaona vile it's not going anywhere. So
but
now what I'm hoping is we'll be able to get the best out of the best from our tribes.
Like what do you mean?
Like for example, ulitiki election ya Ukambani. Kulikuwa na umadha anaitwa what's her name? The one who's
Wavinya Ndeti.
Yeah, Wavinya tu Wavinya. So Wavinya versus that Safaricom guy.
Yeah.
Who do you expect angefanya kazi poa? The Safaricom guy nitwa wata ama? Remember this is Safaricom
the battle.
Yeah, the Safaricom. Yeah, Safaricom whatever. He was at State House.
Nzioka Waita.
Yeah. Who between those people who do you think was more qualified to be the governor of Machakos?
I don't know enough about Machakos County and even those two candidates.
See, just from the outside looking in. This one guy used to work for Safaricom blah 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 management and then this other one her claim to fame ni Yandoele Sipite.
No, but what is her background actually? Because that is just language. That's not a claim to fame.
Even her nini.
What is she, a businesswoman? What is she?
Yeah, she's a controversial businesswoman.
So you would expect Nzioka Waita to be a more qualified person. Yeah. But again, politicians don't do shit.
Yes.
Like I feel like they don't add any value. So like honestly, like it's just entertainment. Politics is entertainment, bro. If I was to do politics today, I would kill it. Because it's just entertainment. That's what it is. Just address what you're feeling and run with it. Entertainment. But I would expect now, that being said, that it's entertainment. Nzioka Waita would suffer because it's anti what his DNA is.
Yeah.
Like his DNA, that like you're a former manager successful doing something at some place and you go into the politics world, you would suffer because that's not your world, man. Hamtakubaliana unless you're willing to change what you know. Like stop being reasonable, stop making sense. No, stop thinking with the mindset of where you came from.
Yeah.
So me, stop making sense.
Yeah, stop making sense. Like you really you want to make sense in politics. You want to I'm appealing. Good luck to that. We have a lot of good people who run for offices a lot of the times. They would make sense, but they're the ones who get wanaangushwa. They don't even last. Hata wakiingia wanatolewangwa mbio. So like, hey, if you view it as it's a meritocracy, politics is a meritocracy. Utashangaa, utajipata. But as far as the entertainment value, Wavinya Ndeti, bro, watu watampenda. Like if you ask people in Machakos, they'd prefer her because they connect with her. That's all what people need. So mtu ataenda kwa shamba yake asubuhi arudi. That's all they like. So where did politics come in there? Gava maybe, but Gava and politics are also, they are intertwined, but they are also two different things in a way, right? But so politicians too is job yake tu ni use Gava to get in the way.
Yeah. Cause hiyo ndio shidangu, but na hope at some point amongst our tribes to get the best of the best. The one way to do it would be, I don't know how we employ at the governor level. So yes, we can have a politician at the highest level, sindio? But then this politician gets like the best of the best to help run the county. No. Then with that, tunaweza get where we are trying to go. Because if you come to tribe, I think we over whatever the whole intermarriage thing, it's happening.
We overemphasize it.
Yes, it's happening at a very small scale.
Yeah.
And it's happening mostly with the smaller tribes being married by the bigger tribes, more than the big tribes intermarrying
together. So when it comes to that, I still go back to, like, if we really need a revolution, we need to fix the country. Politics is not going to be it.
How?
Like, what we would need to do is disempower like, we're not waiting on politicians. Like, wewe jiempower kivyako, wewe jishughulikie. Don't like peg your hopes on who is in government, who next. You just, all you try and do is government proof yourself. It's just one of the many factors of production. I think we have overhyped the contribution that they add into our value creation.
I think hapo mi neza disagree na wewe. Neza disagree na wewe on one thing. Like for example, Iko Nini exists because of politics.
Okay.
Let me qualify that. Without multi-party politics, sindio? Kibaki angeingia, sindio?
Yes,
without Kibaki kuingia, Moi internet would not have been a priority. You understand? Like it was there. It was there before with him. Because I remember we used to pay ilikuwa ngani 10 bob per minute for internet. So it was there. But haikuwa priority. Now comes this other guy who's an economist and sees like this thing has the potential to do a lot of stuff. Of course, in 2001, he could not have predicted the YouTubes and the whatever
Twitters
that came.
TikToks.
That came to happen. So now, let's say internet exists. Apart from internet existing, now a podcast like this, where you can talk about anything, cannot exist in Uganda, Rwanda.
I agree with that. But
so
do you remember
politics is very important?
Do you remember who actually was the spearheading that fiber optic cable to be brought to Kenya?
Bitange
Ndemo.
Yes.
So that is a bureaucrat. Now that's government.
Yeah.
That's government. That's the person where I feel like can do something. And it's based on political goodwill and leadership. Right? That's why I keep saying politics is just kelele, because we have put our leadership needs, all of it, on politics. We've put all of it on politics. Like, politics has a place, but not all of, like, it should not be taking all of our real estate in terms of what's required for development, what's required for government and all that stuff. That's just the way I feel. Like, I feel like half the time, if government can come and help, that's helpful, because government needs to work. It goes back to even as this story, I have the problem with countries due corruption. I mean, I feel like corruption is just a superstar. It's more famous than the other vices. The real vice, I think, is like Wanga, what is it? Incompetence? People just not wanting to work. Laziness, even. Lack of diligence.
Incompetence as number one.
Number one, and lack of diligence and all that stuff. Corruption iko mbali kidogo, but it's a superstar. It's the nice one to say. It's, you think, what are you going to do about corruption? Fuck all, because I don't know. You'll still bribe. You will still bribe a cop. What is the president supposed to do about that? Or the governor supposed to do about that, right? So in a way, so I agree. So because that intertwining governor politics iko hivyo, that is, I guess, what makes politics strong. But again, like I said, I'm not very vast enough. I just have some opinions that I hold dear that I'm like, I don't care. Like, I as much as possible, I try and get out of their way. They try to sipatane mahali. I try not to patana with them mahali, but somehow they find
but vile umesema Johnny, incompetence is a very big issue hapa Africa, because I think kuna time niliona there was a whole debate, I think ilikuwa US. I don't know if it was a senator or a congresswoman, but it was a female, and her family invests in the stock market. Na alikuwa nasema there's a conflict of interest, because she gets what can be classified as insider
information.
Yes. So she can do insider trading.
Yes.
You see, that's a different form of corruption.
Yeah.
So watu wetu kuzunajua hapa Kenya tumezoelea primitive accumulation.
Yes, yes.
Hii pesa inafaa kutengeza hospitali, wacha ni iibe.
Yeah, direct.
Kusikuwe na hospitali.
Yeah.
Ya US kilingekuwa ni a certain conglomerate inakuja kutengeneza hii hosi.
Yeah.
But the nini is inflated kidogo. Yes. So the hosi still works.
Yes.
But inakuwa inflated kidogo alafu hii pesa inakuja. But sasa sisi we just take the whole money. We end up with no hospital. So I think vile umesema incompetence and
complacency as well. Yes. The competent ones are complacent. They couldn't care less. They are apathy. They don't want to work because it might cost them their job if they work too much. And then actually that primitive accumulation was even bigger during the Kenyatta and Moi's time. Nowadays you've seen a lot of the big tenders happening now where just prices are just overinflated. That's where we're headed, where it's like the 21st century corruption, where it's like, okay, give them something but overcharge them for it. That's essentially what's happening. But so at the end of the day it's just one of those things where I've just decided, hey, Nimona too, it's frustrating, it's really frustrating. It's the existence of politics is frustrating. Politicians, not politics, because politics is still a thing. It's you'll find it in all Nini, but because these complacent or incompetent politicians or technocrats and bureaucrats hizo vitu zote wenye wako tu hawafanyi job, because I feel like if they did, watu wangefanya job tungekuwa tu sawa. Like just like do as bare minimum, like usinini sana, musifanye mapicha sana, stop politics is a lead sana, just do something. We don't need much. Just don't need much. So it's in a way it's one of those things in a create conflict in my head all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So wacha to go back to comedy. So tukibonga jua comedy, specifically stand-up comedy. Views zako on Chachi Live zilikuwa gani? Chachi Live ilisaidia ama iliharibu stand-up comedy Kenya?